Good morning, everyone. I'm Thina Berry, and I'll be your service coordinator today. Welcome to today's service, the second in a very busy month. Not only is it the month of high holy days in the Jewish calendar, including Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we also celebrate other holy days, Mabon in Wicca and Muharram in the Islamic calendar. In our own faith, Universalism Day, when John Murray preached the first sermon in the US in 1770 on September 30th. Happy Holy Days to everyone. In the secular calendar, we're also observing Hispanic History Heritage Month and International Peace Day. Let's also acknowledge yesterday's 9/11 Remembrance Day, as well as Suicide Prevention Month, and May It Be So, World Gratitude Day. This is our first service in which we'll share time with Reverend Denise. Her message today will be about getting to know you and is entitled, So Here We Are. Let us gather together. Exciting news for us today. We have Reverend Denise Gouache, and she is joining and offering her first sermon to us today. If you have pastoral care needs, please feel free to reach out to her at her email address on your screen, and it is revdenise@gnuuc.org. Our chalice will be lit today for us by Karen Spencer Smith, who is in our building. And as she lights her chalice, let me read these opening words to you from Margaret Weiss. Come into this place. Come into this place with your whole self, the parts that are raw and exposed, the part is seeking the truth, the new, the possibility. Our covenant remains constant no matter what is going on around us. These words do not change. Please join me in reading our covenant if you feel so moved. We covenant together to make a welcoming community, to walk together in the way of truth and love, to seek the life of the Spirit as it is known by each person, to support each other in thought, word, and deed as we work to build a better world. Our first song today is How Could Anyone, performed by Krista Steenburgen. I hope you enjoy as much as I do.
How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is just a miracle? And how deeply we are connected in our soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is just a miracle? And how deeply you are connected to my soul. And how deeply you are connected to my soul. And how deeply you are connected to my soul.
Let's just take that song really celebrates how deeply we are connected with each other. And I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to hear that today. In Reverend Denise's message today, we will hear about possibilities. Our time for all stages is Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. I invite you to sit back and enjoy.
Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look 'em over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true, that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on. You'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're darked. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite, or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start into race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape. All that waiting and staying, you'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you'll play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance You'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go through the hack and cracks howl, onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step, step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Bucksbaum or Bixby or Bray, or Mordecai, Alley, Van Allen, O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So, get on your way. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Storytime with Miss Jeannie. Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss.
I feel like the last year and a half has been sitting in that waiting space, and so glad that we're beginning to get a little bit of outside time. In fact, I'm going kayaking later today, hopefully. And if you haven't had a chance to get outside, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous day today. This month, our Share the Plate partner is Nashville AIDS Walk, put on by Nashville Cares. The walk itself is currently in person on October 5th, 10 a.m. If you'd like to join our team to walk, contact Doug or Nancy. This congregation has a long-standing tradition of raising money to support Nashville Cares through this walk. Through Share the Plate and our direct donors, we've traditionally raised $1,000, which qualifies us for a booth on the day of the walk. Nashville's Cares mission is to end the HIV/AIDS epidemic in Middle Tennessee. They work to achieve this through education, advocacy, and support for those at risk for or living with HIV. All services are based upon need, regardless of ability to pay. Nashville Cares provides indispensable help to those who need it, such as transportation services, food and nutrition assistance, financial help, in-home help, insurance assistance, educational programs, case management resources, and the Heartline, which provides confidential information and referral services. One of the most valuable services they are able to offer is free and confidential 20-minute testing. If you have been contacted by Doug about being a direct donor, 100% of your Share the Plate donation will go towards Nashville AIDS Walk. For the rest of us, 50% of your Share the Plate donation will go to Nashville Cares AIDS Walk, and 50% will go towards the plate. Please, give generously. Today's meditation will be in words, music, and silence. We'll hear words from Reverend Sarah Lawal, then the lone wild bird, and close with a few moments of silence. Reverend Denise will welcome us back with her message. I invite you now to take a few minutes to get comfortable as I read the following words. To Ask What's Possible by Reverend Sarah Lawal. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery, may we hear the voice within calling us to ask what's possible, to walk to the edge, to shed the fear and need for control, and dance with the infinite for a while. May we set down the list of wrongs and hurts and see obstacles as invitations for innovation, beckoning our creativity. May we hear each other's voices of love and encouragement. May we hear the cries of the world asking us, who do we choose to be? May we be vessels of comfort and compassion. May we be vessels of hope and healing. May we be vessels of peace and justice. May love prevail. In the name of all that is holy, we pray. Amen.
The lone wild bird in lofty flight is still with you, nor leaves your side. And I am yours, I rest in you. Oh, wondrous love, rest in me too. Each secret thought is known to thee, my whole life's path, whate'er it be, and I am yours, I rest in you. Oh, wondrous love, rest in me too, rest in me too. The ends of earth stretch far and wide, through darkened sea and open sky, and I am yours, I rest in you. Oh, wondrous love, rest in me too, rest in me too. The lone wild bird in lofty flight is still with you, nor leaves your side. And I am yours, I rest in you. Oh, wondrous love, rest in me too.
Oh, thank you, Thina, for introducing me to that beautiful song. Good morning, friends. I am the Reverend Denise Gouch. I'm your new minister. I'm so excited to be here, to be able to say that. So this month is a month of embracing possibility. The board has been busy articulating the vision of ministry for the year, and we're starting to share that with the Shared Ministries Council and the whole congregation to think about what does it mean this year to embrace possibility. And I want to pause for a minute today to think about not where we're going, but where we are. So here we are right now. And why does it matter? To me anyway. Why that we stop and pay attention to where we are. We live in a culture, I think, where many of us are often ready to just, so we know where we want to go, let's just go already. Let's just do it already, right? And this is so adorable. We human beings, we're so cute sometimes. We just want to go. The energy's up and let's go and let's just, yeah. And sometimes even when our energy isn't up, we tend to fall into this, well, let's just get on with it. Okay, let's just get on with it. And I'd like to propose to you that that can sometimes be short-sighted and maybe even ill-advised to just charge into the next thing without pausing to be where we are, to be in the present, and to think about where we have come from. Because For good or for ill, our past and our present experiences always shape. They don't necessarily limit, but they always shape our possibilities. So let's, for a moment, remember that no matter where we go, there we are, with thanks to Buckaroo Banzai or John Kabat-Zinn, pick your experts. But no matter where you go, there you are. So where are we right now? Because we are going to be taking these selves, who we are now, wherever we go next. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about me, since you don't know me very well, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I've started to learn about Greater Nashville Unitarian Universalist Congregation. So my name is the Reverend Denise Gouch. I will apologize only once for my last name. I know it's tricky. I will never be upset if you don't say it correctly. The shortcut tip is to just ignore the Y. And there's a story someday, maybe I'll tell you. That Y, it's an odd thing. It is an American name, though, I'll tell you that. I grew up in the Air Force. I wasn't in the Air Force, but my father was, which means kind of the rest of us were too. I have 3 younger sisters, so I'm an eldest child. And although the family was always from Pennsylvania, and most of my close relatives now live in Pennsylvania, I never lived there because we were moving around in the military while I was growing up. I came to Nashville originally to go to Vanderbilt to graduate school. And while I was there, I met my partner, and we kind of just stayed in Nashville. I liked it better than, I never really actually liked the part of Pennsylvania my mom was from, which is where the family settled. So I get to stay in Nashville. And we have 2 children who are now really not children anymore. Our youngest is about to turn 18. So I have 2 young adults. Because of the pandemic, we're all still pretty much at home these days. And I hope that y'all will get to know them at some point. They'll come around. They're curious to meet you too. I grew up Roman Catholic, and I was Roman Catholic for a good while into my adulthood before I eventually, with my partner David, we found our way, mostly motivated out of concern for our first child, who was 2 at the time. We found our way to First UU in Nashville. We had heard about Unitarian Universalism, and David had a coworker who was a member of that congregation, and it was also close to where we lived. And so since exactly 20 years now, we have been affiliated with that congregation. And I was for a good stretch on staff as a layperson and doing membership work, and then discerned a call to the Unitarian Universalist ministry and went to school and got my MDiv degree and did all the things the Unitarian Universalist Association requires of ministers for fellowshipping. And I was ordained in 2015. And since then, I've been working for the last 2 years as the assistant minister at First UU, but I've also done a lot of supply preaching and sabbatical coverage and other kinds of work with a lot of the small congregations in our region. So I've been really excited to see all the very different ways people do Unitarian Universalism in the Mid-South, because I think that Unitarian Universalism here in the Mid-South has a particular place, fills particular needs, and we also do church in our own way here. And it's been really fun to have a chance to see and meet a lot of different UUs here. I'm really, really excited to be here. I've been focused on moving into my office this week. You can see I'm not quite there. The books are kind of starting to be on the bookshelf, but they're not fully settled yet. I learned a lot about y'all while I was moving in. I think you can tell a lot about somebody from their books. So y'all can come and explore my books someday if you'd like. But when I moved in, I learned that you all are very welcoming. I don't know if you can see on my door back there, you can see there's a big poster. You can't see what's on it, I think, but it has notes of welcome from various people who were here. I don't know when, but lots of friendly hello notes. And that was here the first time I walked into the building. I guess it was the 2nd of September. And it was really nice to feel welcome here. I also snooped around as I was moving things around the office, and I found out that you're a congregation that values storytelling. You have a reference shelf of stories for the Time for All Sages, and there's a box of puppets. And I found various books and pamphlets and all sorts of pieces of paper of different sorts that tell me that you're a congregation committed to justice making, to political engagement. A lot of leadership training has gone on here. That you're a congregation that values and prioritizes education and conversation with each other, and that you have pride in who you are as a community, and you have pride in your leaders, your ministers, your affiliated ministers. There's a wonderful scrapbook that was put together a few years ago that has pictures of all the team leaders of all the teams that do all the things here. And I am looking forward to studying that. And I know it's not exactly the same people who are here now, but a lot of them are. I also found, this is really fun, I found a lot of colored markers in my office and a whole huge box of binder clips. And I knew you all are my people. Colored markers and binder clips, two of my favorite things. And I found lots of things about music. There's a drum back there on my table. It's a big round thing that makes, it's really amazing, and I love it, and I'm looking forward to playing with it more. You'll probably hear from me. And there's chimes everywhere and singing bowls, and I love music, and these sounds in particular are meant to be healing sounds. So I'm having fun starting to get to know you all. I'm spending time in a lot of meetings lately. I've met, the board and I have met together and did some visioning work and some regular meetings already, and shared ministry teams meets this afternoon, and there's other meetings set up in the weeks to come. So here we are starting to be together, starting to be an us. And I am curious, who are we together? I know that Unitarian Universalism is needed here in Nashville. I also know that Nashville is a kind of exciting place to be right now. The pace of growth, frankly, has taken my breath away at more points than one in the last 5 years or so. I've been here since the 1980s. And so it was nothing like this when I first moved here. But there are lots of people moving in, lots of energy. And there's energy that's the steadiness of the old Nashville, and there's energy that's new people coming in, bringing new ideas and needing new kinds of resources. And Unitarian Universalism seems to me to be very much needed right now in Nashville. And there is lots of possibility for us. There are lots of ways that this congregation might be of use, might be of service to our wider community, and might be just what some individuals need to find and connect with. We Unitarian Universalists often say that our faith is life-saving, and it truly is sometimes. For some people, we are just what they need. So we can be lots of things together. And you and I, even though I just got here a week and a half ago, we have a history that predates who we are. And I want to just talk just briefly about the history between First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville and the Greater Nashville Unitarian Universalist Congregation, because I was very deeply committed to being a member of First UU, and now I am here, and I am deeply committed to being here with you. But There is a history of conflict and hurt between these two congregations in the past of both. It still affects both congregations, I think. And that history is old and it's many layered. Now is not the time to talk about it, although I am willing to talk and to listen about it, especially one-on-one. So I want you to know that. But for now, about First UU in Greater Nashville, I want to say these things to you. One, there has been a lot of work done and a lot of healing has happened in both congregations over the last many years. Two, I have heard from individuals associated with both of these congregations a desire, a longing for the two congregations to be closer, for us to be able to be Unitarian Universalists in Nashville together, sometimes supporting and encouraging each other and leveraging our collective resources to be more of what our community, our wider community needs. Three, that process of being able to be in relationship with each other will continue to take time and patience. It is happening. It has been happening. I trust and hope deeply that it will continue to happen. But we will need to go slow. And some of the slowness just has to be because of the pandemic, because everything is slowed down. But it is important to lots of people, as I mentioned before. And the fourth thing, and this is the one that's really important to me, even though I have spent 2 decades embedded in the life of First UU, I look forward so much to being here with you now. I am yours now. I belong to you and you belong to me. And it's hard for me to, that word belong often carries overtones of possession that I tend not to like, but there's no other way to say there is a deep, deep connection, belonging. There is a belongingness here. And I want you to know that I'm committed to you now. I am yours. I am your minister. We all belong to each other. We choose and we covenant to be with each other. So the other part of who we are together as a minister in a congregation is where we are in the world today. I'm going to list a few things. There are more I'm missing, but there's a pandemic that just kind of won't go away. It's still here. We're still having to think about it. We're still having to figure out new problems, new circumstances around it all the time. There is climate crisis that we sort of knew was coming, and now it's really here, and we're trying to come to terms with this. We have social and political change and unrest and dis-ease and trauma on every side, around the world, next door, right here, far away. There is just lots of exhaustion. There's lots and lots of change. There is change and more change and more change. And okay, let's all take a breath. And here's more change, right? This is where we live right now. I'm hearing lots of people talk in terms of understanding trauma and being trauma informed. And I'm a little uneasy with how broadly that word is used, because it also has some kind of specific meanings, trauma, that word. But I think it's apt. I think it's important for us to all remember that all of us have been in sort of an extended period now of stress and being tired of figuring things out, and lots of change, so much change. So the important thing, as we think about moving from where we are to where we imagine, to where we envision we might go, is to remember first and foremost to connect with each other, to breathe together, to go slow and easy. We will get there. We will get wherever we want to go. We can get there. This is challenging. Just being here now is challenging. Trying to imagine moving to somewhere else is a little more challenging, but we're not caught unprepared for this moment. We have lots of experience none of us would have wished for, but we still have it. And that comes with a chance for wisdom. We have tools to understand things like trauma. There is so much work going on about neuroscience and behavioral science. There are things we can understand about why people act the way they do, make the choices they do or don't. We can understand so much more than we could even a decade ago. It's amazing. So we have those tools. We have our values and our mission. We have a brand new sparkling vision for this year. And we have each other. We have each other. So I say to you, oh, the places we will go. This will be fun. Thank you for being with me. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Denise. I really, really, really appreciate hearing that today. We are really, really glad that you were here. I especially liked that part of your message when you talked about us being a congregation that can fill the needs of people moving into Nashville. And the reminder that we do have tools already in place and that there are many, many, many delicious places for us to go. We've come to our time of joys and concerns. I want to thank you all on YouTube who have been watching us. And we will see you hopefully next Sunday. Jesse, please turn off our live.